Hi, this is Dave. I'm doing my first solo podcast on inspiring stories of recovery, and I wanted today to talk about my own story because each week I have a guest. But I decided, well, you know what, just do this week for inspiring stories about myself because I feel it's a very inspiring story. Please follow us on Inspiring Stories of Recovery on social media. I'll have the links down there. Also, if you're looking to get help for your addiction, there's going to be links down there to 12-step fellowships and also crisis lines. So I'd like to put that with every clip. So I really started this podcast just to talk about how I could help people. I know a lot of people are out there struggling with addiction and might not know where to find the resources. So the first week I had gotten somebody that only had like 6 months to live, but is staying clean. And I thought that would be a very interesting story. And that was episode 1. In episode 2, I got a military veteran on that's in recovery, explaining how you could get clean in recovery if you are a military veteran. That was episode 2. Episode 3, I got a family therapist who also has a lot of family in recovery, and got episode 4. I got a owner of a treatment center that talked about treatment and how treatment centers work and so on. So what I wanted to do today is really talk about, like I said, my own story, which is I started using it at a really young age, and I didn't know any different. I felt like when I started using, I found a home, and I liked that feeling that I got. And in the beginning, it was fun until it wasn't fun. And as things progressed, they got worse. When I was 16 years old, I OD'd for the first time and went into treatment and stayed a couple months, and then managed to stay clean for about 15 to 16 years through help of a 12-step fellowship and a lot of meetings, a lot of service work. And, I was young when I got clean, and I felt that I was able to successfully use after a while. And it turned out that I feel like I had relapsed way before I ever picked up a drug. And when I relapsed, it was really bad. I was married at this time, I had a couple kids, I had a business, and my life spiraled really fast out of control. About 5 or 6 years later, I got clean again through a incident that happened where I had some problems with the law, and I had gone. I had paid my debt to society. I had gone through the system, and at one day, I decided again that I would just smoke pot socially. And for me, as an addict, it never ever is good to separate from 12-step fellowships for me because each time I drift away, relapse happens. This time when I relapsed, things got really bad again, really fast. I spiraled out of control and came down to a point where I basically lost everything. And I got to the point where I was just desperate, almost living in a recovery house. But I decided that this time that I would get clean and I would follow all the suggestions. So what I did is I got a network of people that supported me. I got a lot of friends that would help me, and I went to a lot of meetings. At 2 years clean, I got gastric bypass surgery. For me, food is just as bad as an addiction as drugs, because I started eating. I was close to 400 pounds. I had gone through open heart surgery, and finally I got gastric bypass surgery, like I said, when I was about 2 years clean, and I lost 160 pounds, and I started feeling good. And as I progressed in my recovery, I got involved in service work. If you don't understand what service work is, it's helping other people, going out to institutions and, in jails and helping people. And but what I wanted to talk about today that basically qualifies myself. I'm 11 years clean now. I just celebrated 11 years. And what happened is when I was about 10 years clean, I got really sick with depression. And I think a lot of people don't understand how deep depression could be, a mental illness. I mean, I was in a really, really dark spot. I couldn't move. I couldn't leave my house. I would only get up for the dog to to get the dog out. And I was just hanging on. I really didn't know what to do. And, sometimes in life you just get into such a dark spot and a dark place. So I just, I called my doctor and I started getting meds. And in the beginning, it feels like the meds wouldn't help, because I would try them and they wouldn't work right away. And I was just trying to work and I was trying to hang on and I was just feeling so bad. Luckily, I developed a support network in the 12 step fellowship that I'm in, and I was able to lean on the people in my life for support, and that really helped. But, it took some time. So if you're out there struggling with depression, I get it. It's not easy with me. I had bouts of it before, but this just hit me all at once. And there's nothing worse than feeling like you have no hope, and feeling sick and feeling upset and you don't want to do anything and you have no energy and it's never going to get better. And so many of my friends that I know suffer from it, and we just seem to not talk about it a lot. And I'm here to tell you that that it's really important if you feel bad to go get help. Go see a doctor, because the people in the rooms are good friends, but they're not doctors, and they really aren't the right people. Like if you have a medical issue like depression, go get help. If you need to be on meds for depression, just my own personal experience, I don't know where I would be in life without meds. I had to, and I had to just keep trying them and being patient. And, sometimes in the beginning there's side effects, but I stuck through, and I kept trying. And every day, I felt then, I started to feel a little bit better. Then I started to sleep more. And, during that time, I just felt like I could never, ever get out of the depression. And, what I'm here to tell you is that there's hope for somebody that's struggling with depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, any kind of sickness that you have, mental sickness that you have, but you must get it treated. You must get treated by doctors, and whatever that takes. I didn't know if I had to go into a hospital or whatever, but believe me, if it got that bad, I would have done it. And it felt just as scary and lonely. And thank God, with all the help of my friends, in my case, also a higher power, good people in my life, regularly attending 12-step fellowship meetings, even when I didn't feel like it, listening to the doctors and sticking with medication. I could tell you that I'm on the other side of this, and it is such a good feeling. Now, I have my own business that's starting to grow. I do this podcast just to help people, to let you know that you're not alone out there, and, recovery is possible. Recovery from mental illness is possible. I don't know if it's a lifelong thing, but like I learned in recovery, I just take things one day at a time and hope that they work out. And, but it's a good feeling not waking up in the morning and having no hope. So to wrap it up, I would tell you is, if you feel like you need help, if things aren't going good, please just reach out and get help. Reach out to whoever is important in your life, your family, your friends, and tell them that you need help, because it's not just going to go away. And if it's not treated, it could kill you. So that's all I wanted to share today. I hope I did good on my first solo episode, and everybody have a great day. Remember, follow us on Inspiring Stories of Recovery.